Today I'm going to walk you through a demonstration of the platform to show you how you can manage your AWS environment with VMware Aria Cost powered by CloudHealth. The first thing you see when you log in will be your default dashboard. Our dashboards give you the ability to quickly and easily track cost, usage, performance, and you can use these metrics to ensure your environment is running efficiently. This is the AWS Dashboard, which gives you a quick insight into your month-to-date spend, your previous month's spend, projected monthly spend, and your current month's EC2 coverage. Below that, you'll see 13 months of spend broken down by service category. Scrolling down, you can get individual views into your EC2 usage, RDS usage, and S3 usage. Dashboards provide you a high-level view into the environment, and you can customize these dashboards to suit your specific needs, such as for MultiCloud dashboard. With this dashboard, you can see across all of your cloud environments and track spend by, say, for example, project across AWS, Azure, Google, your data center and VMware cloud environments, Oracle Cloud, and Alibaba Cloud. So this gives you one place to see all of your cloud spend info without having to go to different reports and portals. Scrolling down, you'll see a summary of the cost across the clouds. And you can also see your cost summary and performance. By clicking into one of these reports or by hovering on one of these assets, you'll see that the report is interactive. As I mentioned before, the AWS dashboard we saw first is the default dashboard that I have set. You can also choose to set a default dashboard in the platform by clicking on this icon. You can also create a custom dashboard by going to the 3 vertical dots here and creating a new custom dashboard. The first set of reports that we will explore are the cost summary pulse reports. These reports are executive level reports that give you visibility into key metrics and data that are crucial to managing your environment. They are in-depth summary of your costs and growth trends. It shows you information on what your assets cost month to date, what they cost last month, and the projected cost. Using the filters and categorization options at the top here, you can create a view specific for every group. We call these groups perspectives with a P next to them. And you can set them up so you see spend by business, department, product, cost center, or any other grouping that makes the most sense for your team. Perspectives are lenses through which you want to view your infrastructure. One of the powerful capabilities of Aria Cost is that there are different roles to have an independent view of the cloud environment from whichever perspective makes the most sense to you. Having good grouping simplifies a variety of concerns when dealing with thousands of assets. Now let's select a filter from the perspective line of business and select engineering, set filters, and change the category to project. And click on update. You also have the option to choose the overall budget. Now we see a summary of the engineering team's costs and the projected trends for the month. It looks like they're spending the most on a project called Tor. You can easily subscribe to this report or save it. By clicking subscribe, you can name this report and choose a frequency that you want to ensure the department stakeholders are staying up to date with their costs and staying in budget. The health check is an executive assessment of your infrastructure's health. This report gives you a 360-degree view of optimization opportunities across your environment. To the left, we can recognize immediate monthly savings. That shows you any savings you have through RI modifications, recommendations, or unattached EBS volumes. EBS volumes are not expensive on their own, but they can add up. And moving down, you see operational monthly savings. That shows you right-sizing opportunities. These are instances that Aria Cost has analyzed the performance metrics on and determined if these workloads could run on smaller instance types without any application degradation. And to the right side, we see cloud governance. Here we can see any untagged instances. along with assets that are not allocated. These are hyperlinks that you can click on and view more details. So here you can understand the best course of action for your environment, and it shows you account name, instance ID, and you can take bulk actions like start or stop these instances. And below that, you'll see the security risk exposure. So these are security vulnerabilities using either AWS best practices or the Center for Internet Security benchmarks. And then we have the reservation management monthly savings that give you various options like fully optimized purchase, or if you want to do it based on a budget, or if there's any unprofitable convertible RIs that you want to exchange. You can subscribe yourself or someone on your team on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis to get health check updates directly to your inbox. With these pulse reports, you can easily ensure all of your infrastructure is consistent, auditable, and immediately flag exceptions. Moving on to multi-cloud cost history, here you can see across all of your cloud environments, and scrolling down, you see a tabular view of your total cost by cloud. This gives you a single place to see all of your cloud spend without having to go to multiple different reports and portals. Moving to our in-depth reporting, we have many reports to get visibility into cost, usage, performance, governance, and other critical metrics. First, we look into the cost history report that gives you an overview of your last 13 months of cloud spend while being able to drill down into specific time periods and services. As you can see here, EC2 Compute has the most spent here compared to other AWS services. A report like this can quickly help you identify if there were changes in your environment that are causing significant cost increases. You can find perspectives under filters and also under the category option. Throughout these reports, you have the ability to use filters that allow you to select one or more items from a dimension to include or exclude in your interactive reports. Another useful feature in reports is report pinning. Report pinning is useful for examining a specific data set across multiple types of reports. Once you define your dimension and filters, you can pin them and then seamlessly move across all of the different reports to analyze the different types of data sets. As you recall from the cost summary pulse report, the tour project is our biggest spender. So we want to spend some time investigating what they spend their money on and how we can help them reduce their costs. So we pin filters first. Let's change the filter to include line of business and select engineering and update it and change the x-axis to project. It looks like your money is being spent mostly on EC2, which makes sense. Now, if you want to see if they are in production, we can change the category to environment. Now we know that the tour project group spends mostly all of their money in production, which is good. One way we can help them reduce their spend is by buying savings plan or reservations to cover their on-demand usage. Aria Cost also provides API services to allow you to programmatically retrieve this data from the platform. You can do everything from retrieve customer standard report data, pull metrics, set up new accounts, or even add custom tags. Keeping these pinned filters, let's move to the next report, which is a usage report, and click on EC2 instance. Let's change the category to instance type families. Now we see that this project team is spending the most money on i3 family and R5 family instances. Let's see if these assets are running on demand or if they're covered by any reservations. So you can change the category to coverage type. It looks like they have a good savings plan coverage. But since you're spending some amount on on-demand instances, if we bought more SPs or RIs for them, we could probably help reduce the spend. Let's move on to the performance report. We can change the category to, say, for example, instance types. So based on their spending, I'm going to dive further into the tour team's C5 4x large. And we can change the topic and choose any of these topic options. Changing the interval to daily. So now you can see how the two projects instance is utilized across CPU, memory, network, and disk. We are collecting these metrics from CloudWatch and other products like Datadog, New Relic, via API, or from our own lightweight agent. With Aria Cost new RightSizing Engine, you can analyze the workload pattern of your instances, generate recommendations, and instantly view them. You could also fine-tune your instance based on up to 2 additional recommendations. The first thing you see is a RightSizing Dashboard that provides you information about the efficiency of your instances, displays the status of each instance, and provides recommendations for each of these instances. On the dashboard, we have an executive summary that shows you your current recommendations along with monthly price, projected monthly price, and projected monthly savings. And below that, you'll find a recommendations table. You can set an efficiency target based on system targets and custom targets, and also a date range to help generate targeted recommendations. You could also choose to include or exclude burstable instances in your recommendations. You have the option to group recommendations by account or perspective. Our new right-sizing engine is now available for EC2 and RDS. You could also choose to add filters for your recommendations. So here you have the option to choose a billing account, availability zone, or even a perspective or a perspective group. Let's dive deeper into the efficiency targets. Efficiency targets are a collection of instance usage attributes and utilization ranges that can be applied to meet application or enterprise requirements. So to create a custom efficiency target, let's go to Actions and add a custom efficiency target. Here you enter the name of the target and choose the metrics. You have the option to select whether the metric should be defined by average or max performance so that it does not go beyond a maximum value, and define the target threshold range and values from 1 to 100. The recommendations table here shows you all instances that fit the selected filters and have a recommendation. By toggling this Show All button, you can view instances that do not currently have a recommendation. We see here that the table also shows a classification system for the instances based on their fit. Good fit means that the instance meets all efficiency targets. Both the average CPU and average memory utilization fall within their target ranges. If the instance is underutilized and does not meet all efficiency targets, this is classified as under target. Over target means that the instance is overutilized and exceeds one or more efficiency targets. If there was no data available for a metric for the selected time, the fit could not be determined and it is classified as not enough data. You can search recommendations based on name, instance name, or ID. So let's go to one of these instances. Here we can see more details on the recommendations, and you will find the current instance. The lowest price option is your recommended best fit, and alternate recommendations also provided. Below you'll see a metrics chart that looks into your current instance. Here the green band refers to the efficiency target ranges, and the colored line is the actual metric utilization for this instance. This allows the customer to deep dive into the recommendation itself. Looking into the savings plan recommendations page, you can see that we have listed all possible combinations of savings plan that you can purchase within AWS. The various options are 1 year upfront, no upfront, partial upfront, and 1 year all upfront, with similar variations for 3-year commitment plans. Each of these options includes summarized details about the potential costs and benefits. If we look at the 1 year all upfront option, we can see an hourly commitment of $327 with a total upfront cost of $2,868,000, and this will provide a total coverage rate of 93.5% and will give a lifetime savings of $527,000. By default, the recommendations are meant to provide maximized savings, but you can easily customize it based on your needs. You have the option to choose an evaluation period for the past 30 days or 7 days, or even select a billing account in which you want to perform analysis. You can also provide the maximum hourly commitment you are willing to make, or you can enter the total coverage needed across your compute resources. So let's say you want to make an hourly commitment of $200. And then if you refresh recommendations, now these updated recommendations will give you these options. And under the 1 year all upfront plan, we see that the hourly commitment, as we specified, is $200 with a total upfront cost of $1,700,000, which gives you a total coverage rate of 91.7%. If you click on View Details, this report now shows you the discount rate before and after the savings plan purchase, along with the total coverage rate before and after the savings plan purchase. We can clearly see an increase in coverage and monthly savings. Scrolling down to shed more light on this, we can look at this chart. The spikes represent the actual on-demand cost, and the orange dotted line represents the savings plan commitment. Below, we see a table that shows you the commitment impact by different instance families. Here we can see the current coverage for R5 instance family. Right from this page, you have the option to purchase the savings plan, or you can export this data to CSV format. Aria Cost provides you with configured out-of-the-box actions, or you can create an action yourself. By toggling these actions on and off, we're enabling Aria Cost to take action. Scrolling down, you can also set up custom actions. So this requires you to fill in the name and description and the resource type, and you can enable this action. And then choose what you want to do with the instance. If you want to delete, restart, or email the owner of the instance. Let's create a policy that will help us put these actions in place. Policies allow you to set up guardrails and introduce automation in your environment. If there's an issue with tag compliance or another anomaly, you typically need to know about this ideally even before you cross the danger threshold. Aria Cost lets you determine that threshold and triggers alerts so you're not caught off guard. You can be proactive versus reactive. Let's see how we set up a policy around tag compliance. We click on New Policy and we choose Standard Policy. Give it a name and select the resource type. You can choose to run this policy hourly, daily, weekly, or monthly, and even choose to run it at a specific time. I'm going to leave it at daily. It is a good idea to keep the policy disabled until you complete setting up the policy along with the required actions and condition. So now I'm going to add a condition. Under Build a Condition, we can select Untagged and finally save the condition. We are creating a policy that checks to see if the instance is untagged. Then you can either kick off a workflow to stop it, or you can email the owners. This is where the action comes into play. You can approve, delete, or run a Lambda function, start or stop an EC2 instance, or choose to email the owner. We can also easily set up policies to monitor for unattached EBS volumes and terminate them or flag security vulnerabilities so we can fix them even before it becomes a bigger issue. Within the Aria Cost platform, you have the ability to set your budgets and then see how your monthly spend compares to that budget. Here you will see a list of all budgets in your environment. To create a new budget, click on New Budget, give it a name, and select a duration. By default, all budgets are set to a 12-month period. The budget type is by default selected based on your cloud. Next, you can choose a categorization option, one for your overall cloud spend and the other based on your perspectives. As an example, I'm going to select the cost center perspective. You can also choose whether or not you want to include amortization. If you select this option, your budget will be compared to the amortized cost instead of your actual spend. If you do not select this, your budgets will be compared to your actual spend, including all upfront RI prepays in any report and policy you use. You can choose to include rollover in your budget. If you choose to include rollover, it will be displayed in the budget versus actual report. Rollover is a transfer of the remaining money that has been budgeted for but not used to the following month. The next section is the budget values. Here you can manually enter your budget for each month during the time period you select or import your budget from a CSV file. Here, since we have already categorized our budget based on the cost center perspective, we will need to add the perspective groups that we want to assign a budget to. So here I'm going to select the prod and engineering cost centers and click on OK. Now I can manually enter the budget for each month. You can also select to show the historical costs for the same month for the last year. So as an example, you can see each of these months' cost for the last year. As an example, I'm going to give our prod cost center and the engineering cost center a budget for the month of March. So here I'm going to assign $4 million. And for the engineering cost center, based on the previous cost, in the month of March for last year, I'm going to enter about $2 million. You can download and import the CSV file. And here you have the option to select groups or all the groups. You can also select a CSV file to upload. Click on Save Budget to save the budget. You can now track your actual spend against this budget within some of our reports, such as the cost summary, pulse report, and the budget versus actual report. The Savings Automator helps you automate cost management for your cloud resources so that you can achieve your business goals and maximize savings. You can configure the tool to intelligently take actions, and you could also set specific parameters on a per account basis. One thing to remember is the Savings Automator requires the user's role document to have permission to read, create, or update the Savings Automator. The first step to using the Savings Automator is selecting accounts for optimization and ensuring they are configured correctly. Once you configure them, you can view an estimate of cost savings and recommended actions. To set up an account for Savings Automator, select a billing account to optimize. On the Configure Settings page, you can select your forecasted cloud spend and workload stability for the year. Select what kind of commitment you're willing to make in your purchases. Minimized commitment requires less commitment but does not provide the most cost savings, while balanced commitment takes a more balanced approach between commitment and cost savings. Maximize savings options provide the most cost savings. And below that, you could also select a date range and budget for new commitments. So once you have made the options, save and view dashboard. So this dashboard provides an estimate of cost savings, total cost and effective savings, and recommends actions that could further help reduce costs. It can take up to 24 hours for the saving automator to recommend actions. Moving on to anomaly detection, which can be found under the governance drop-down. Anomaly detection is an automated solution to help identify unusual activity, also called anomalies, across your accounts within the past 90 days. Aria Cost's new anomaly detection engine can help you identify these spikes without much manual effort by providing near real-time status detection and alerting of anomalies in your cloud infrastructure. So at a glance, you'll see summary boxes that shows you your anomalies for the last 7 days, the total cost impact of the anomalies, and finally the total cost, that is the total cost spent for those accounts that have been impacted by the anomalous spend. You could also choose to use filters to make the data more meaningful to you. For example, if you want to drill down into a specific account name or service. Below, you'll see a table that shows you both active and inactive anomalies over the last 7 days. An active anomaly is defined as a period of unusual activity in progress, and an inactive anomaly is past occurrence of unusual activity. You could also choose to export these anomalies into a CSV file. Let's create a policy to detect anomalous spend. So here I'll go to New Policy and give it a name. You can also choose to give it a description and choose a perspective. Let's choose a resource type as AWS Anomaly and build a condition. So the topic here I'm going to choose is cost and cost impact as a measure. And in order to build a condition, we're going to say when the cost impact of any increasing and decreasing anomalies is greater than, for example, say 75%, updated in the last 1 day for all accounts, and then click on Save Condition. Now that I've created my condition, I can create an action so that we receive an email alert when this condition is met. Let's go back into the anomaly detection page. To dive into a specific anomaly, click on any start date shown in the table. Here we get more details into the impact itself. The graph shows you the total cost and the anomaly is marked with an A. You also have the ability to submit feedback. And by submitting feedback, you are letting our AI/ML engine know that this was an unexpected anomaly, or this was an anomaly but it was expected, or if it was not an anomaly at all. By clicking on the root cause, you get a deeper analysis here, and you will see an in-depth Flex report that shows you details on the impacted resources.
For more information, detailed videos, and blogs about all Aria Suite products, please visit apps-cloudmanagement.techzone.vmware.com or simply scan the QR code to learn more.